Well, here we go then. Jack Reeves, Talk Norwich City, back for another video. An intriguing weekend ahead for Norwich City as we travel to Vicarage Road to take on Watford, who have been a really interesting team to watch and follow this season. And I think many expect one of the most difficult challenges of the season so far. But that's really strange to say when you look at Watford and they're 14th in the division. Big thanks to Betmate for continuing to sponsor our match preview content throughout this season. So many of you loving what you're getting over on Betmate. To thank all of you, they're giving away a £5 free bet that if you sign up and enter code TNC5 when prompted, you'll get yourself that £5. The link's in the description. Follow that, sign up. You'll be able to enter a code TNC5 for a £5 free bet. You're essentially betting against your friends rather than the bookies, which means that someone will always win. There's a £100 pot specifically for Watford against Norwich this weekend. You just pick your team and you can follow along during the game. I love doing that. It's instant updates, so you can keep track of how your players are getting on. Let us know how you get on. Chris and I are both in the league. Good luck. Watford then. Fairly positive press conference from Dean Smith, which helps. Both Sam Byram and Todd Cantwell will be up for selection, which is good because we haven't seen Todd for a little while, have we? And it's always a slight concern when you see Sam Byram hobble off, which he had done. So they're both in the mix for Saturday. Isaac Hayden and Dimi Yanulis both hopefully going to be seeing them sometime soon. Dimi Yanulis will be training next week. Isaac Hayden has been training. He's not going to be up for selection on Saturday. They're going to be seeing how his knee reacts after some light kind of work, running, etc. So fairly standard team news. Cantwell returns, Byram in the mix. Those injured players in Hayden, Dimi Yanulis should hopefully be back soon, which is positive news because with Isaac Hayden in particular, it feels like we're kind of missing him. Although, who knows, he hasn't played since, December last year? So it's been a little while. What do we all make of Watford? Because I just can't work them out at the moment. I watched the game in full, Bilic's first game against Stoke when they won 4-0, and they looked really, really good. But they've only won 1 in 5. They've lost their last 2 against Blackpool and Swansea, 2 sides who you maybe expect. I'm not so sure about Blackpool. Swansea have been in good form. They look good under Russ Martin. Maybe not the most shocking of results. Blackpool, I don't think they would have. Watford would have taken much from that, having been played off the park by Blackpool in that game. So they're not in the best form. I don't think the fans are particularly happy. In particular with managerial changes once more. It felt as if Watford might have turned the corner with their introduction of Rob Edwards into the club, and then to sack him after 8 games, 10 games, just feels like a classic Watford move. And it will probably work to some extent. Just how long you can sustain that approach for remains unknown. So it's not all happy campers down at Watford. And I think, if anything, it proves just how difficult winning football matches on a regular basis is. Watford came down, probably a better squad than us, played better football than us last season in the Premier League, sustained more points, and are really, really struggling. Norwich, on the other hand, have got themselves to joint top. A fairly unimpressive last 2 games. It's been a weird couple of games. I thought we were really poor against Reading and were probably fortunate to get a point in that. It might sound slightly balmy, but I actually thought the performance against Preston wasn't the worst in the world. We've played worse and won games this season. It was just a very peculiar game. I think we probably deserved something out of that. And didn't get it. It's the way that this championship is so beautifully balmy. It's relentless, and there will be games that you look at after playing them and go, how on earth didn't we get something from that? And I think that fits into the Preston kind of category there. I think there'll be changes going into Watford. I think there probably need to be changes. I saw a really intriguing tweet from Cam, who I follow. I'll put his @ handle in the description, who put up his preferred team, I guess, and a slight change in system. I'll put it on screen now, and I'm actually not against it. I think the difficulty Dean Smith has at the moment is how do you get the best out of both Pookie and Sargent? And I don't think he wants to drop either of them. And I completely get that because they're both at this level very, very shrewd players. So with this system, you do get both of them in there. Now, does 2 up front work? Historically for Norwich, it probably hasn't. But this feels like maybe the right approach. And the form of our wingers in recent weeks, Hernandez, Sinani, hasn't probably been good enough. And I think the majority of good spells for Norwich this season has come when you've got players off the back of defenders' shoulders. Sargent's been really good at running in behind. He showed that against Millwall, I think, in particular. That was a standout game for him. And Pukki, obviously, we know what he does. And it's that midfield where we really need to solidify things. I was actually really impressed with Gabriel Sara when he came on. And I think Dean Smith, what he's been good at is rewarding good performances with starting positions. He's been quick to change things this season in terms of from one game to another. And I think we'll see Gabriel Sara start. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Liam Gibbs throughout this season. I think he'll be managing to get in there as well. And I want to see more from Marcelino Núñez. Now, I'm not saying I'm being critical of him. I just think there's so much more to get from him. And I think that really excites me. He's been giving the ball away too much recently. And you look at Watford's front three, at least who started in the last game, Sema, Bayo and Sarr. If you give the ball to those on a regular enough basis, which we have been in recent weeks, they're going to score and they're going to have fun. We need to be far more solid. We need to be more wise in possession. And I think if we do that, we've got the capabilities going forward to score goals. The left-back position is a fascinating one as well. I think once Giannoulis is back, Dean Smith has a really big call on his hands because McLean can play at left-back, and I'd say actually looks better at left-back than he does in midfield. Sam Byram can play at left-back. I think the fascinating thing comes with Max Aarons because Dimi Giannoulis can play left-back, and I think will be the preferred option. You've then got Sam Byram, who defensively I think has been really sound this season. And I'm not sure if Dean Smith is particularly fond of Max Aarons' defensive work at the moment. So I think there could well be a change at right back. It's going to be one to follow, I think, when Dimi Giannoulis returns. But I think the team that Cam put on Twitter, I actually really like. And I think this is a good opportunity to maybe see how we fare in that system. Away from home, up against the side who've got a frighteningly quick and potent front three, but look vulnerable at times. And I don't think it's going to take much for that Watford crowd to turn if we can get an early goal or get them under the cosh first 20 minutes. I think the first 20 in this game will really define the way in which this goes. So I can't wait. Chris and I are going along with Craigo. So if you're going to Watford, come and say hello. Let's have a few beers. And I am slightly nervous actually for this one because I think both outsiders and Norwich fans alike see this run of fixtures the next probably 2 weeks as pivotal in how we fare this season. This is probably our toughest run of fixtures yet, the next 5 or 6 games, and it begins against Watford. Set the tone here, go to Vicarage Road and win, and suddenly the mood changes, because at the moment, I think there's a bit of pessimism around the place, which sounds bonkers considering we're joint top. But that's the way it is, and that's how high expectations are for Norwich City in the Championship. Can't wait to see you all there. Can't wait for the game. Remember, download Betmate. You've got to be 18 plus to play, but there's a free £5 bet waiting for you if you use that code when you sign up, TNC5. See you over there, and hopefully I can win again. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.